much of this was largely put together by Vince the day of the show. How much did you notice? How much did it affect you? Last second changes during this era. We heard about this every single show.
Yeah, dude. It was even before this. It was like that. It was even when Vince was there, it was last second changing. I think it's because Vince is maybe, me and Cash, there was a period where we were talking to Vince or going to his office so much, Michael Hayes kind of would get annoyed with us. But I would just, we would just have back and forth arguments, me and Michael Hayes, because I'm trying to make a living here.
Yeah, just put him in the claw and push him aside.
Yeah.
Like the claw always works on Michael Hayes. That's just a pro tip.
I should return the favor from JYD and put the hair cream in his eyeballs.
There you go. There you go. All kinds of options.
We were always there with Vince because we wanted to make a difference and we wanted to do something. But things were always changing, and it was very frustrating, but it almost got to be the norm where you came into work, you knew, okay, you're not going to know what you're going to do until 8 p.m. or whatever. So yeah, it was at that time, man, it was completely different than anything we'd ever known before.
Can you give an example of the time that like a last second change maybe impacted you?
We'll talk about one, I guess, at MSG, where it was a huge last second change. But there was a time where it was supposed to be myself and Dan against Chad Gable, or excuse me, I'm messing that all up. It was supposed to be a singles match with me and Chad Gable. And me and Chad Gable had put this whole match together, what we had, as far as the back end stuff and what we were going to do. And it was going to set up for a tag team title match later on with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable against myself and Cash. And then, dude, I'm not even kidding. Maybe 30 minutes before showtime, it completely changed to me and Dan against Bobby and Gable for the tag team titles in a 3-seg match where we won the belts. It was crazy.
You said you went to the office a lot and talked to Vince, and of course Michael Hayes playing the long-haired, monochromatic suited gatekeeper. What were your conversations with Vince like?
Always good, man. And, he always expressed how much of a fan he was of our work. And he always listened to our ideas. And we brought him a couple of ideas. And I wish I could remember this exact one. I'm sure Dan could much better than I can. But we gave him this idea, and he thought for a second. He said, that's a really good idea. I probably won't use it for you guys, but don't be offended when I do use it for someone else. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I mean,
that's not fair.
If you weren't afraid to go talk to Vince, he always had time for you. And we weren't afraid to talk to Vince because he's a human being, just like we are. And there's nothing to be scared of, not one thing to be scared of. He doesn't put any fear in my heart at all. So we would go talk to him, and we would have conversations with him, about whatever, growing up in North Carolina or whatever. And we would sometimes express our displeasure with how communication is to him, because we were given our own writers and our own, for our own angles and our own storylines. Right. And I would send in stuff every week, how our characters could be portrayed or what angles we could do.
Did you have a guy? Did you have like a guy you had a good relationship with?
Yeah, well, not a great relationship, but we had a guy that was appointed to us, and I don't remember his name. I remember he had long brown hair, or like brown hair to here, and he had a little shitty mustache too. Cool guy, whatever. But again, just scared of his own shadow, just like every other writer there, every other producer there, scared of his own shadow, worried that he's going to make Vince so mad Vince is going to fire him on the spot. So it did nothing. So we would talk to Vince, and I'd say, hey Vince, I sent all these pitches, or I sent all these character development ideas to our writer or this writer, or I would send it to Michael Hayes all the time, or John Laurinaitis. I'd send it to him all the time. And I said, are you not getting it? He said, I haven't got anything. He said, I'm glad you told me this. I will fix it. It never got fixed, but at least he knew I was trying.